Some actors have versatility. Gal Gadot has presence, a lot of it. So much presence, in fact, that sometimes the plot forgets to happen around her. Gal Gadot is not an actress, she's a concept. She isn't so much a person as she is a brand extension of elegance, a walking fragrance ad, a living screensaver. She's the answer to the question, what if a mannequin gained sentience, took a few acting classes, and then got cast as the most iconic female superhero of all time? She's tall, statuesque, and carries the serene energy of someone who has never lost a single argument because she's never raised her voice above a whisper. To her fans, she's graceful. To her critics, she's emotionless. To Warner Bros., she's a contractual obligation. And to the rest of us, she's the cinematic equivalent of chamomile tea. Looks fancy, tastes like nothing. Before Wonder Woman turned her into a household name, Gal Gadot was already quietly building her cinematic resume. If by building you mean standing stoically in the background of Fast and Furious movies like a perfume ad with a driver's license. As Giselle, her character had all the depth of a sleek car brochure and about as many facial expressions. She was competent, sure could handle a gun, ride a bike, flirt with Han like it was part of a CIA op, but emotionally she remained locked in neutral. Her dialogue delivery hovered somewhere between ASMR and Google Translate, which oddly enough made her feel perfect for a franchise that values vibes over vocabulary. When she delivered a line, it was less of a performance and more of a suggestion, softly implied emotions drifting past like smoke from a tire burnout. And yet, she fit the world. She didn't need to emote, she just needed to glide into frame with a smirk, say something that sounded vaguely international, and let the background explode in her wake. Moving on to Wonder Woman 2017. This was Gal Gadot's big moment. Her debut as Diana Prince in Batman vs. Superman was brief, just long enough to strike a pose and cause Hans Zimmer to lose his mind on a guitar solo, but Wonder Woman was the coronation. And to be fair, she looks the part. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who better resembles a mythic warrior princess handcrafted by Zeus's interns. But once she opens her mouth, things get complicated. Her performance is a blend of ethereal detachment and dramatic whispering, like she's constantly explaining something very important to a toddler.
And I believe in love,
She tells us while standing in the middle of World War I like an anthropomorphic motivational quote. There's a sincerity to it, sure, but it's the kind of sincerity you get from someone who learned their lines phonetically. The accent is thick, the delivery is flat, and the emotional range lives somewhere between mildly concerned and slightly more concerned. Critics praised her presence, which is a polite way of saying, she stood there really well. She does that. She stands with conviction. She strides with intensity. She stares into the distance like it's about to tell her a secret. And she says lines like, only love can truly save the world, as if she believes it, or at least as if she practiced saying it a lot in the mirror. But then came Justice League, where Gal Gadot officially entered her leading lady era, and with it, a new challenge. Emoting while surrounded by a team of emotionally unstable superheroes and one very expensive CGI mustache cover-up. As Wonder Woman, she was regal, determined, and deeply committed to saying things like, "We need to unite," as though she were reading from the back of a cereal box. Her voice, ever tranquil, rarely changed tempo. Whether she was talking strategy or mourning the fall of mankind, she sounded like she was halfway through a spa treatment. But all roads lead to the Kal-El. No moment, possibly the most unintentionally iconic line reading in the entire DCEU. Superman has just been resurrected from the dead and is busy tossing Batman like a lawn chair, and in the heat of this high-stakes conflict, Gadot belts out,
Kal-El, no!
with the urgency of someone realizing their Postmates order went to the wrong address. It's not a scream. It's not even a plea. It's a light drizzle of disapproval. She says it like she's trying not to disturb a sleeping baby, or like Kal-El is her roommate who keeps forgetting to separate the recycling. The world is ending, punches are being thrown at hypersonic speeds, and Gal Gadot is mildly inconvenienced. You can't write that kind of deadpan delivery. It's the kind of line reading that echoes through time, a cinematic relic to be preserved in digital amber alongside. I am Groot, and do you bleed? And yet in its flatness, in its complete detachment from the gravity of the scene, it somehow becomes legendary. That's the Gadot paradox. She underplays everything so intensely that she swings back around into meme immortality. Critics might call it wooden, directors might call it restrained, but there, in the middle of a movie that doesn't know whether it's an epic or a corporate apology, Gal Gadot remains unbothered. Her tone never wavers, her brow rarely furrows. She is, above all else, consistent. A statue with a SAG card, a goddess of glassy expressions sailing through chaos, as if protected by an invisible force field of, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Now let's fast forward to Wonder Woman 1984, where everything got weird. The movie is a kaleidoscope of bizarre choices, magic stones, body-swapping ethics violations, and a villain whose motivation boils down to capitalism, but with jazz hands. And in the middle of it all is Gal Gadot, floating through the plot like a beautiful, unbothered ghost. There's a moment, an emotionally climactic moment, where Diana has to say goodbye to her magically resurrected boyfriend. She weeps, sort of. She cries, kind of. Her lips tremble, maybe, and it all lands with the emotional weight of a soap ad. You don't feel it. You just recognize the intention of feeling. It's like the movie hired a robot to simulate heartbreak, and the robot was running low on battery. Next up, Red Notice, the Netflix action movie that feels like it was written by ChatGPT if you only fed it Instagram captions and leftover Fast and Furious scripts. Gadot stars alongside Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds in what can best be described as an algorithm's idea of chemistry. And yet, once again, she's magnetic, not because she's doing anything particularly compelling, but because she's doing it in heels and a $4,000 dress while holding a priceless egg. In Red Notice, Gadot plays a femme fatale who flirts, steals, and delivers exposition like she's reading bedtime stories to her iPhone. She's seductive in the way a luxury car commercial is seductive. All curves, no substance, and no actual threat. When she fights, it looks like ballet. When she delivers punchlines, it's with the rhythm of someone who learned English last Thursday. She's not bad. She's just buffering. Then there's her role in Death on the Nile, which gave us perhaps the most unintentionally hilarious line reading in recent cinematic history.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
A line that should have been dripping with Gatsby-level decadence instead hits like Siri trying to flirt. It's the kind of delivery that makes you pause the movie and stare at the wall for a second, wondering if you imagined it. But to blame Gadot alone is to miss the point. She's not being cast for her thespian chops. She's being cast because she is Gal Gadot, and that's powerful branding. She radiates poise, beauty, and a sense of serenity you usually only find in spa commercials. Her acting isn't dynamic, but it's consistent. She's like the Apple Store of performers, clean, polished, and emotionally sterile. Take Heart of Stone, the Netflix spy thriller that was supposed to be her franchise. She plays Rachel Stone, a super spy with the emotional depth of a Wi-Fi router. The action scenes? Decent. The explosions? Frequent. Her facial expressions? 1. She delivers lines like, "I don't have friends, I have a mission," with the kind of energy you'd expect from someone asking for a manager. It's not dramatic, it's corporate. And yet, somehow it works. Not because she elevates the material, but because she is the material. She doesn't act through scenes, she glides across them like a skipping stone, beautiful in motion, never breaking the surface. So does Gal Gadot have no acting range? Well, define range. If you're looking for someone to scream, cry, collapse, and rage against the heavens, she's not your girl. But if you need someone to look stunning while holding a sword, whisper something about justice, and stare wistfully into a CGI sunset, she's unbeatable. She's not a chameleon. She's a logo. You don't hire her to disappear into a role. You hire her to elevate it with her presence, her mystique, and the gravitational pull of her bone structure. She's not pretending to be a goddess. She's convincing you she already is one. In conclusion, Gal Gadot doesn't need acting range. She has the kind of face that makes people project depth onto silence. Her performances are not about emotional variety, they're about vibe. She's the ambient music of Hollywood, soothing, stylish, and best left playing in the background while the plot happens around her. Critics may call it wooden, I call it branding. She's not here to transform, she's here to remind you that Wonder Woman wears Dior,